Hi guys, welcome to Elizabeth Ann Reads. I'm Anne and I'm here today to do a tag. This is the Dilemmas of a Book Nerd tag. I was tagged by Naomi over at Naomi's Bookshelf, and I will link her as well as the original video, the original creator, down below. So be sure and go check those videos out as well. So, and if you see me looking over here, over to my right, your left, it's because my laptop's there. So I'm looking at my laptop. Okay. So dilemma number 1 is book storage. How do you store and organize your books? And you can see behind me shelves, which is how I store and organize my books. Unfortunately, I am running out of space. I have these shelves, which are 5 high. You can see most of the width. They're not much wider than what shows. But they're 5 shelves high. And this is where I keep most of my favorites or stuff that I access a lot. Over to my right, I have a whole another shelf the same size that's my TBR shelf, which is books I have not read. Across from me, I have a built-in bookshelf above my desk that has 1, 2, 3 shelves that's mostly nonfiction, like theology type stuff, as well as a few textbooks from college. And then in a different room, I have 3 more shelves that's overflows. It has a lot of my middle grade, a lot of my my own books from childhood. It has a lot of some more nonfiction in there, just kind of classics are in there, kind of whatever else is in there. So those shelves are all full and all overflowing, and I have nowhere else to put shelves. So I'm not sure what's going to happen after this, but for now, I just store and organize on shelves. And I organize just in my own way, in a way that makes sense to me. It's kind of by genre, kind of by favorite authors. It makes sense to me, but I can't really explain it. All right, dilemma number 2 is tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? I do use Goodreads to track what I read. Although I've used it consistently the last 3 or 4 years, I didn't use it consistently 3 or 4 years before that. So there's a lot of stuff on there that I have read that is not marked. So slowly trying to fix that, but yeah, it is what it is. What I own, I just remember, which fails sometimes, but most of the time I can remember what I own or don't own. Dilemma number 3, borrow. Do you loan books out? I do. I've gotten a little more cautious as I've gotten older with who I loan them to, because early on I did lose a few books that I especially liked when I loaned them out to people, but I have friends that I loan books to that I completely trust. And yeah, books are meant to be read. And even if I have pretty books on my shelf, they're still meant to be read. They're not meant to just sit on a shelf. So I generally loan out all my books. If I had something that had a special sentimental value or was especially money valuable, I probably wouldn't loan it out. But in general, books are meant to be read, and I try not to hold on to my personal possessions too tightly. It is something I struggle with, but I try and make sure my things are being used, and that's what gives them value, is that they're being used. Number 4 is buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? I order from Amazon. I know that's a bad answer, but here's the reality. I live in a rural area, and there are a couple used bookstores around here that I frequent, and I get what I can there. But there are no new bookstores. The closest one is Portland, which is an hour-and-a-half drive for me. So if I want something that's a new release, or that's, I'm not going to find in a used bookstore, I just have to order it online. Because I'm not going to drive to Portland, to Barnes & Noble, to pick up a new release. I'm just not going to. So, yeah. So I do order. I'm ordering more and more these days from Book Depository, because I like being able to choose my edition, and shipping's free. But I do order from Amazon and Book Depository and buy from the used bookstores when I can. Dilemma number 5 is, how do you respond to the "how do you read so much" comment or similar comments? Hey, everyone always assumes I'm a fast reader, and I am not a fast reader. I read at best maybe 50 pages an hour, which I think is fairly average. I know that probably seems fast for some people, but I know a lot of people that read much, much faster than that. So I do not read particularly fast. I just read a lot, and I don't really have a lot of other hobbies. So I do a couple things. I make an effort to put my phone down. I will actually set a timer on my phone for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and so I set it aside and won't touch it till that timer goes off, so that I can get a solid chunk of reading instead of reading 5 pages and then picking up my phone and scrolling through social media. So that's one thing I do. Another thing is make sure I'm taking advantage of the small moments during my day. So if I'm waiting for a piano student to show up at the house and I have 5 minutes, I'll just sit there and read a few pages. And these are things I've changed as I've gotten older, because I didn't used to do that. But I've seen the value of fitting in more reading in the little bits in my day. So take advantage of small moments, and yeah, like I said, I don't have a lot of other hobbies, so I pretty much read all the time. I don't watch much TV. I watch YouTube, but not much TV. And I don't really do anything else. So, reading. Dilemma number 6 is next book. How do you pick your next read? I am a mood reader, so I pick up whatever I feel like. I do generally have kind of a stack of this is kind of what I'm leaning towards right now, but I'm not married to that stack. I will go off that stack. I will choose something completely different. I will start 10 things at once and just slowly make my way through each of them, which annoys me, but I do it anyway. So I really pick up whatever I feel like. Dilemma number 7 is travel. How do you pick what books you bring on vacation with you? My family would laugh at me, but I pretty much just bring them all. When we go camping for a week, every summer, a week to 10 days, and I literally take a tote full of books because I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. Last year, when I went to California for a couple weeks, I knew I wouldn't have much reading time, and I still stuck 6 books in my suitcase, which I didn't even read one while I was down there. So I take a lot with me just so I have what I need. I don't, at this point, have a Kindle or any sort of reading device. I do have the Kindle app on my phone, so if I get really desperate, I can do something on my phone. But in general, I just take all the books with me, and again, it's just whatever I feel like I might be in the mood for. I do tend to take rereads with me a lot when I travel, because I know often that I'm not as focused when I'm traveling, so I'll take stuff I'm already familiar with. Dilemma number 8 is annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark up your books in any way? I am starting to. The answer until recently would have been no. I'm starting. It's something I'm trying to learn how to do well. So I have started occasionally underlining or marking things or tabbing things out. I don't do it a ton yet, probably ever, but I have started marking quotes I especially like, or occasionally even writing a word or something in the margins. So it's something I'm starting to do and learning to do better, hopefully. Dilemma number 9 is new or backlist. Which do you prefer, new releases or backlist? And 100% backlist. A book that is hyped, I would say the more hyped a book is, the less likely I am to pick it up in general. There are exceptions to that rule, but in general, I'm going to go for books that have already proven themselves over at least a couple of years. Like, if a book is 2 to 3 years old and everyone's still talking about it, then it probably deserves the hype. If it's coming out a month from now and everyone's talking about it, I don't know that one's going to stand the test of time, so I generally won't pick it up. The exception being, if it's an author I know and love, then I will, of course, pick it up brand new. I have a few authors that are auto-buy authors for me. If they're coming out with something new, I buy it no matter what. But in general, I will go for backlist books. And then dilemma number 10 is sequels. Do you read books as they are released or wait for an entire series to be published before reading one book? Or reading book 1. And the answer is yes. I just read what I want to. So if there's a series that's being written and I want to read it, I'll start reading it. I will not wait for all the books to come out. Often, since I read backlist, often series are complete by the time I start them, and that's great too. And then I can just binge the whole series. But a series that's still being written is not going to prevent me from picking up the first one, which can be a problem, Patrick Rothfuss, but in general, I haven't found that to be a problem. I enjoy the anticipation of waiting for the next book. I will often go back and reread the series or reread the few in the series if I want to before a new one comes out, if it's something I really enjoy. So for me, that's just part of the fun, is the anticipation and just the excitement of waiting for the next installment in the series. That's it. That is all 10 dilemmas. I have no idea who has or has not done this tag, so if you have not and you would like to do it, I tag you. That is it. So thank you for watching.